This is QTV News. I am Marietu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. Coming up, the Gambia Police Force has confirmed the arrest of 2 suspects who they have named as protocol officers of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, including a JP, Justice of the Peace. The suspects are currently in police custody for their alleged involvement in diplomatic passport fraud at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The fight against climate change is an ongoing battle. The French Programs Coordination Office, in collaboration with the Sickle Cell Association, collaborated in a tree planting exercise of more than 700 moringa plant seedlings. A recently published book entitled The Oath Fulfilled delves into the Gambia's caste system. Staff at Kanifing General Hospital have benefited from a 3-day training program aimed at dealing with patients with the condition called Clubfoot. For more on this and other stories, stay tuned. The Gambia Police Force has confirmed the arrest of 2 suspects who they have named as protocol officers of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, including a JP, Justice of the Peace. The suspects are currently in police custody for their alleged involvement in diplomatic passport fraud at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. According to the police PRO, Lamin Jai, the 3 suspects are helping them with their investigations and that further details concerning the matter will be out later. Aside from that, QTV has contacted the parties named in the alleged corruption scandal but was not able to get their comments before coming on air. However, we will continue our investigations on this developing story to get to the bottom of it. The fight against climate change is an ongoing battle. The French Programs Coordination Office, in collaboration with the Sickle Cell Association, collaborated in a tree planting exercise of more than 700 moringa plant seedlings. Aisha Jan reports.
Today, the world over, climate change is everyone's business, as it is a global threat very much fueled by human activity, such as the destruction of the food chain and economic and natural resources, most especially deforestation. French teachers under the French Coordination Program Office, in collaboration with the Sickle Cell Association, for a brief time became farmers by working together in the fight against climate change. Together, they planted over 700 seedlings of the moringa plant across various school sites in the sub-region close to the capital. At Abuko Upper Basic School, dozens of moringa seedlings were planted at the school compound in efforts to raise awareness of the significance of trees and environmental protection. French Program Coordinator at the Ministry of Basic Secondary Education, Andrew Sambu, tells us why he calls moringa the magic plant.
Moi, je l'appelle la plante magique parce qu'elle fait plein de choses.
I call moringa the magical plant because it does a lot of things. It can help moderate illnesses like high blood pressure when patients take it. I have done research on this and it cures a lot of illnesses. It is even found useful in the eradication of malaria in Africa. Moringa has endless medicinal value. Also, its leaves and flowers serve as food with great nutritional benefits when cooked, which is why it is essential.
The principal of Abuko Upper Basic School, Marianne Williams, says that for her, the planting exercise cannot be overemphasized as trees represent life. She shares the benefits the trees will have for the students of the school.
It will benefit the student, not only the student of Abuko, but I think the neighborhood, because we all know the use of moringa. Moringa has very medicinal uses that we can see in the internet. So it will benefit them a lot, and it will benefit them on shades, because when they go out for break, they need trees for shades and the like. They do science in classes and they talk about plants, etc. And then it can be used as this experimental, for experimental purpose.
Elizabeth E. Korea, a student of Banjulinding Upper Basic School, says there's no place she would rather be this summer holiday than out in the field growing life. She further urges her peers to take ownership of the initiative and challenge them to ensure its sustainability. The moringa plant extract is thought to be very helpful in treating and preventing anemia and sickle cell disease, as it may help a person's body absorb more iron, therefore increasing their blood cell count. Other schools that are part of the tree planting exercise include Banjalinding, Sukuta, and Kanifing Upper Basic School. For QTV News, I am Aisha Jan.
The University of the Gambia's History Club undertook a 7-day trip to Gorée and James Islands to assess how to improve the conditions of the Gambia's historic sites. The visit also gave the students a better idea of what transpired at both these slave-era sites to better prepare them for their lectures. Ibrahim Balde reports.
According to some of the students, every country has a history and this needs to be preserved for the future. And Sature, a lecturer at the University of the Gambia, highlighted the importance of the visit and gave us a short history lecture.
James Island we are talking about today, it is a very, very important island that we have to actually collectively pay attention to that. Because we have to understand that we embark on comparative studies to compare within the framework of policy, within the context of policy framework of each government. That is the government of Senegal and the government of the Gambia. And within the framework of the government, we have to identify the institution that is actually responsible for the conservation and the promotion.
When it comes to preserving our history sites in the Gambia, the management is poor at sites such as Kunta Kinte and James Island and cannot be compared to other countries. Boubacar Mboub, a student of the University of the Gambia, also highlighted his experience.
It was through his experience that such a research was conducted, and through his experience that students are always taken outside the borders or beyond the borders of the country to learn things that are written on books, to make sure that students are well motivated and are well informed regards the facts that are found in the Senegambia region.
We asked Sirajata, a student, about the findings, and this is what she said.
This trip was not like something of like just enjoyment. We learned a lot from it. Since we embarked on the trip, we saw Kunta Kinte Island. The place was not much attractive. We were even told by one of the boatmen that the place was bigger than that, but now the water is consuming it little by little. And it is very sad. When our group went, we even barely had a tour guide, someone who would narrate the history of Kunta Kinte and James Island at large for us.
The question is, what are measures to be taken to preserve our historic sites? Most of the sites are now dilapidated and needs to be improved. Perhaps the National Center for Arts and Culture, in collaboration with the Gambia Tourism Board, should take these very important historical sites even more seriously and preserve them. Ibrahim Obalde, QTV News.
The opening ceremony of an advanced Ponseti Clubfoot treatment and 3 days training program organized by Gambia Clubfoot Foundation and funded by Miracle Feed from the USA took place at the Kanifing General Hospital from the 23rd to the 25th August. Ajifatu Bintumbub has more.
The training focused on providing advanced and complicated clubfoot treatment skills to members of the Gambia Clubfoot Foundation at Kanifing General Hospital and Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital over a 3-day training program which started on the 23rd of August. It was explained that most commonly, a doctor recognizes clubfoot soon after birth just from looking at the shape and positioning of the newborn's foot. Others, however, are not born with it and may have acquired it through excess injections. This training is to improve the skills, capacity, and knowledge of Gambian health care workers. Ibu Kamara, founder and national coordinator of Gambia Clubfoot Foundation, explains.
Instead of evacuating children with Clubfoot to oversee treatment. It's expensive, sometimes it's not available. In doing that, we think the best bet to do this is to bring the treatment program in the country.
Clubfoot can seriously limit the patient's potential if not treated. When addressed in time, using the right methods, there is hope for the family and the patient can go on to fulfill their potential fully. Mrs. Deborah Modariki, physiotherapist from Zimbabwe, made an appeal to families of patients with clubfoot malformation.
There is hope for your children. Clubfoot can be treated. It's a disability that does not have to stay with the child as long as they get the right intervention. So I want to encourage everyone out there with a relative, with a child who has got clubfoot, to contact your nearest health center, the Gambia National Clubfoot Program, and get information in terms of where you can get treatment.
Of course, it is the patient who suffers the most. However, it is also a struggle for the families as well. The fear of your child not being able to walk can be traumatizing for parents.
I was scared. I was very scared. When I first realized that my child had clubfoot problem, I asked everyone I know if they have any idea of clubfoot, but I always get a negative answer in response. That is, not until I came across a doctor at the Jammeh Foundation who helped me out. Now, my child is in the process of being cured, and thank God, the results are quite impressive. Previously, I used to cry all night.
Dr. Alhaji Mane highlights some of the challenges they face with clubfoot cases.
Challenges that we have concerning the management of clubfoot in the country at large is late presentation. Most of these unfortunate individuals were living with clubfoot deformities, and they must have tried their best with alternative approaches without solution. So by the time they present here, it's almost late.
The administrator of the foundation said they have been doing their best to help citizens affected by this condition, but they, however, cannot just be relying on foreign aid for a solution. He urges government to give some support.
Government should come out and also give us support and recognize clubfoot as another health issue, a national health issue.
Ajifatu Bintumbu, QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break, and the news continues when we return.
It is the new era in broadcasting. We showed it to you with our continuously improving content. With thousands of viewers around the world, now, how do you take advantage of our existing and constantly increasing viewership? Advertise with QTV and reach a large audience. Call us on 324444 or email marketing@qtv.gm. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. QTV Gambia. QTV, a new era in broadcasting.
Welcome back. A book looking at the Gambia's caste system has been launched. The Oath Fulfilled joins the growing list of books showcasing the new Gambia's literary market. Lamin Dabo reports.
Young writers have been taking the center stage in the literal industry by providing the perfumes needed in the 21st century, aimed at enlightening the general populace. Over the weekend, the young Sarahule lady writer Aisha Jawara launched her most fascinating book titled The Oath Fulfilled at the country's hotel school in Carnifing. The proprietor of Sabali Leadership Academy, who served as guest speaker of the occasion, Moudu Sabali, threw light on the value of books in the lives of mankind, and this is what he mentioned.
The book is what empowers human beings. There is no human society on the face of the earth that was not founded on a book. And that book, no matter what it is, contains what? Stories. And the story is powerful.
On the side of empowering young writers in the country aimed at encouraging the art of reading, Sabali called on Gambians in the literal field to produce their own stories and publish them. And he continued to say,
there is not a very viable market in terms of literary work in this country. So every support that can be offered by government parastatals, private corporations and communities, every little support towards these young talented writers would be worth the while.
In giving out his reflections on the significance of literature, especially the admirable work of storytellers, the chief guest of honor, Honorable Halifa Sallah, had this to say.
Our people are very great. They've been teaching us. They teach us by transforming animals into human beings in order to tell us stories so that we learn to know what evil results to and what compassion results to. Literature is not just for its sake.
On her part, the author of the book, Aisha Jawara, expressed her delight and went on to explain what motivated her to become a writer as early as a teenager. This is what she had to say.
I started writing since I was 13. Writing is basically what I do. I've been writing about our prophets, our history, but I write basically because of the inconsistencies in our oral history telling, because I love sitting and listening to my grandma tell stories, but because when they say the story they always change it, I saw it fitting to write. It's part of what why I started writing.
Aisha Jawara pursued her high school diploma at Ndao Senior Secondary School. She headed for Reliance Financial Services as a senior credit officer and also a part-time DJ at Paradise FM before joining the Mega Bank where she works today. As part of the list of young writers in the Gambia, Aisha never stopped writing as it is what she does and enjoys during her leisure time. The Ode Fulfill is the second and last part of the Ode saga aimed at addressing the unfortunate caste classes among some ethnic communities in the country. For QTV News, Lamin Alaj Funding Dabo reporting.
And in sports, Medina FC lost their crown when they were defeated by Prison FC in a Super Cup final organized by Lamin Youth and Sports Development Association. Malik Nyang has the story.
Prison's Fabakary Bojang scored an exceptional goal from a direct free kick, which was conceded immediately after a penalty had been awarded, taken and saved early in the match. Prison FC were able to weather the storm and hang on to their early goal to emerge triumphant. Medina, having been stung by conceding so early, dominated the game in the second half and continued their determined search to get back on level terms. However, Prison FC refused to buckle in the face of sustained pressure and held on for the narrow 1-0 win. The head coach for Prison, Mohamed Ali Jaju, said his team lost last year in penalty shootout, but this time, even though they had not been training for a long time, they were able to be crowned winners of the Super Cup.
After the qualifier run for the third division, we sit out, we were working for the past 4 months. Today is the first day we check the ball. We have a preparation of only yesterday. We prepare all our cards for all yesterday. We are not planning to come back to play Navetan, but we have to do to structure our third division towards the second division. To be honest, I'm very much proud of them. They didn't train even a single day. Today is their training. We just came here to rectify our mistake. Through that, we achieve our aim.
The defeated coach Modu Eba said his team played very well, but he admitted that his team need to work on and will improve in terms of scoring more goals next time. However, he described the winning team as very hard to play against, saying they were fortunate to win the cup.
It is very difficult to play with an organized team. Prison, if you observe them, you know that they are not really fit. They are just trying to defend and then break us on counter. Fortunately for them, they succeeded on that. So, like when they beat my defender, he made a mistake of holding the hand of the player. But my goalkeeper was extremely good. So he saved the penalty. But the free kick was an error. They hit the ball. There was a rebound. But anybody who was there, in fact, the Lions raised the flag. But unfortunately, the referee did not see him.
The president of Lamin Youth and Sports Development Association, Lamin Mama Fofana, said he believes in teamwork and that it is through this that sports can be developed. He also mentioned financial constraints as their principal challenge in organizing football tournaments in Lamin.
Sports cannot go without finance. Basically, those are some of the challenges, but we are trying to
link up with others to make sure that we have sponsors and others so that things can go in a smooth direction.
As the game ended, fans of Prison FC were able to celebrate and went into scenes of jubilation. Malik Nyang for QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's take a quick look at our main stories. The Gambia Police Force has confirmed the arrest of 2 suspects who they have named as protocol officers of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, including a JP, Justice of the Peace. The suspects are currently in police custody for their alleged involvement in diplomatic passport fraud at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The fight against climate change is an ongoing battle. The French Programs Coordination Office, in collaboration with the Sickle Cell Association, collaborated in a tree planting exercise of more than 700 moringa plant seedlings. A recently published book entitled The Oath Fulfilled delves into the Gambia's caste system. Staff at Canifing General Hospital have benefited from a 3-day training program aimed at dealing with patients with a condition called Clubfoot. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.